Hey team, welcome to this video where I review the Mallee Blast. I did the inaugural one 2 years ago in 2021 and I'm attempting the 2023 northbound 500. I was unsuccessful in my first attempt, but the 2021 was my very first ever bikepacking gravel adventure, all of those things all in one. Thought I'd swing big, swing for the rafters. Came up a bit short, had to finish in Pyramid Hill after about 320 k's on the northbound route, but I had a heap of fun, met some amazing people and learnt a heap. I'll put up a picture of the rig I used then. You can see it's a carbon fibre bike. It's a sort of do everything bike. It's technically an AliExpress straight from a distributor in China bike. Can fit up to 40mm tyres in it. I also have a fast set of wheels for it that I race crits on. I quite like it, but I've moved away from that from this. I just didn't like hanging all the bags off it, and I wanted some more volume in my tyres, so I had to get something that could fit some bigger tyres in. So the big changes I made, I'll go over those quickly. One is change the whole bike, pretty much so I could run some bigger tyres. I'm running now some American Classic Kimberlites, 700 by 50mm. Because the rims I have only have an internal width of about 22 mils, these actually measure about 45 mils at the moment, but that's going from some Panaracer Gravel King SS that were only 38 to these. That extra volume, I really love it. I've used these on the winter solstice. Even though these are some semi-slicks, the volume and at low pressure, they still gave me pretty much really good grip apart from the absolute sloppiest of sloppy mud at the winter solstice. And I've done a whole bunch of test riding on them since, and I love them, especially for what's going to be involved in the Mallee Blast. The other big change would be the cranks and pedals slash shoes. At the time, I didn't have a pair of mountain bike shoes or mountain bike cleats, so I actually used road pedals and Shimano SPD SL cleats. So that wasn't great when I had to get off the bike. It was terrible trying to walk in them and terrible to walk up a couple of hills on the Goldfields track, but I made it do. Bring what you run. Run what you have, pretty much, as they say, and at the time that's all I had, so that's what I used and made it work. But I have gone to some Velokicks mountain bike shoes. Love these, had these now for a year and a half, and no complaints at all. So that's what is running there. And the cranks, I've gone from a semi-compact all the way down to this Shimano GRX set. That's a 4630, and on the back I have a mountain bike 10-speed 1142 cassette, and that 3042, if I could actually go bigger on the back, but I can't. I just can't get a bigger chain wrap than that derailleur, which actually happens to be just a Shimano Olivio. Has a massive capacity, go all the way from the 4611, also the 3011, all the way up to 46. But yeah, the ratios, it covers all of them and makes it work. The frame itself of the bike is just an Apollo Trace. It's a flat bar town bike. I got it on Facebook for $100. I've replaced the fork on it. This is again off AliExpress. It's sold as a mountain bike rigid fork design, and this one's the 26. They have a 26, 27.5 and 29 option. This is actually only the 26-inch option, but because of the clearance in it, it fits these 700C wheels with a 50mm tire on it completely fine. And I have at least 1 centimeter on either side clearance, and I also have 2 centimeters vertical clearance on there. It's a bit tighter in the back on the chain stays, but I make it work. Not expecting a heap of rain or mud this year for the 2023 edition, so I should be completely fine. They were the main changes equipment wise, just so I could have some more volume and a lower gear ratio and comfort walking around in some mountain bike shoes. Let's talk about the rest of the bike. Let's start at the front. Some Actually don't know the brand. Again, off Facebook for 20 bucks, pair of TT bars. I have them set as pretty much as wide as I can get them on the handlebar for the clamping. Not there for aero, it's there for another position and comfort. On the flats, little false flats downhill, false flats uphill. Love just resting in them and grinding out a bit of a higher gear. Takes weight off the seat and saddle, which after that many hours is really good thing. Put some more on the elbows and shoulders. The bars are some Ritchie gravel bars, 460mm wide at the tops, that flare out quite a lot further. A lot of what I've got on here I've taken from Dr. Stephen Lane. He's done a video before the 2021 Mallee Blast. A lot of inspirations come from him, like a lot of his ideas. I love the wide and I love the flare, not so much for the comfort, but having width to fit this front handlebar bag in. At the moment, that's actually fairly compact. Throughout the ride, as I stuff more crap and don't pack as well, that blows out wider, but it means having these wide bars, I have a lot more space there. Shifters or Brifters brakes, just some old Shimano 600 brakes up there. I don't actually have, that's just for brakes, mechanical, compressionless housing, gives a nice feel. But for shifting, I actually just use these 10-speed mountain bike bar end shifters. I don't even have them indexed. They're purely friction based, means I don't worry about any indexing. Doesn't matter if it's muddy, chocked up, nothing. I ran this for the winter solstice and I had way less issues than a bunch of other people had whose indexing and gear shifting went out the window and they lost use of a bunch of gears in the mud. Again, we're not expecting it for the Mallee Blast for 2023, but I just love the set and forget and simpleness of it. That carries on to the brakes. I'm running mechanical disc. They are Avid Road BB7s. The Road's pretty important. That they mean they're the short pull ones, so you can still use mechanical disc with these Road Brifters up here and have enough power to stop. Completely fine. Again, used them for a whole bunch of different rides and had no issues. I love the mechanical nature of it because if something goes wrong, just run a cable or cut the cable, and if it's broken, it's broken, but it's not going to cause an end of trip issue. Already talked about the fork, the wheels. I replaced the hubs for some Novatech hubs, but the rims or the wheels themselves are, what are they? RD 2.0 Maddox. It was whatever came on this Apollo Trace. They are cheap, probably not very great, but they have a lot of spokes, and that's going to be really handy, especially on the Goldfields track. Some people that were running 32, 34 mil tires with some low spoke count wheels busted a bunch of spokes on the Goldfields, had no issues. These are the wheels I used last time, just with some Gravel Kings on them, smaller, and they were bomb proof, came up completely fine. Cranks I've already talked about, GRX 4630s, the cassette on the back, shifter I've already talked about. Seat post, again, an AliExpress carbon fibre special, just takes a bit of the vibration out compared to an aluminium one. The Sally San Marco short fit saddle, short at the nose, it's really nice when I'm on the TT bars. On the TT bars, and I'll show a close-up of this in a second, but across them it's a bit of PVC pipe, holes drilled in at either end. Set across that has my quad lock mount for my phone. It has one of my lights on it and my another light just sticking off the side. Really simple, great little hack. Give you some more mounting options. I also have my giant Neos Track. That's my bike computer. It's nowhere near as fancy or great as the Garmin's or the like, but the battery lasts forever because navigation is just literally breadcrumb. It just shows a single line trail. No maps, no nothing like that, and just an alert if you get off track. That's why I have the quad lock mount that my phone just clips onto, so that I have ride with GPS on there as a backup. It's also really great to have the phone attached there, easy to use, rather than holding if I've got a podcast or music or anything like that going. That's pretty much the bike. I've used it. The only other change I need to do is I add a third bottle cage here underneath the frame using some plumbing. I forgot the name of these. Snail drive clamps. I add a third bottle cage here. But that's the bike. Let's talk about clothing and what I wear. I have a POC helmet with a clip up top. That is where I actually generally put my second light that I just store here. I like having it stored there so I can either change between them if I'm charging, or I take it off straight away and use, it's not quite attached, but there's a little elastic strap here. Hold it on the top. Again, got that idea from Stephen Lane. It's great to have that on there so that when you pull into a site when it's dark, you don't have to hold a torch or light. But that's my helmet, POC, regular pair of long fingered gloves, long sleeve, underlayer, regular cycling top. I like the cycling top. I've tossed between just a loose fitting synthetic or actual cycling kit. For the first day I like a cycling kit, especially for the pockets in it, stuffing stuff in the back. Convenience is great because it means if you're not having to stop and do things, it means more time riding and moving. Cap for underneath the helmet, bibs, just get something that you like and work. The reason why I didn't succeed in the 2021 is I went with bibs that were loose fitting because I thought, oh, that'll be comfortable over the length of time, but it meant I rubbed, chafed, I got some saddle sores, and after the second day I just couldn't go on any longer. I was also 6 months post knee surgery, so I couldn't spend the time out of the saddle. My knee was starting to kill me, so I just pulled the pin and took it as a learning experience. Leg warmers, again, looking at the temperature, not sure if we're going to need it. Some thin arm warmers as well. And then my favorite bit of kit would be this Castelli Perfetto short sleeve. Now the Perfetto short sleeves, windproof, highly water resistant. You can spray them with water seal, but what's nice is on the back it's a different material that's highly breathable. It's going to be perfect for that. I wear this down to about 10 degrees up to about 18, 19, which is looking like what we're going to have temperature wise. This is by far my favorite bit of kit, so I'm going to be in that most of the time. So that's my clothing. Let's have a look at the actual bags that are on. Let's talk about the bags themselves. At the front, 9 litre Apidura, I forget it's the Expedition one or not, but it's the 9 litre. In reflection, I wish I had got the 14 litre one, which has a larger diameter. Because of the diameter, I can't fit my sleeping bag in its stuff sack in there. It's too narrow, but that's that. Top tube bag is an Apidura as well. Apart from the size, I really like both of them, had no issues at all. The zips are great, buckles are great. Frame bag is a Lifeline frame bag. Get them on eBay or Amazon, really cheap. Volume, and it just works out really well with my bottle placements. I've had no issues with that. And then at the back is a Toe Peak seat post backpacking bag, and then one of my little own handmade stem bags. So they're my bags. I've had no issues with any of them. Let's go through the kit. I've already mentioned I've taken a few things from Stephen Lane. Where I put stuff, also stolen from him and a bunch of other people. The idea being segmentation and ease of use and need of access. Anything that I'm going to need a lot are going to be in this stem bag, my electronic or top tube bag and frame bag. Any clothing or sleeping bag is in the seat post bag, and then my actual sleep system, so tarp, bivy bag, all of that. Anything that I shouldn't need unless I actually stop for the night is in the front handlebar roll. So let's go through them. Let's start with the stem bag. This is just sort of my utility bag that will change through the trip. Where's the Velcro gone? Ooh. What I have in here at the moment is not a whole lot. My water filtration, we shouldn't need this on the Mallee Blast, but I just bring it along absolutely as a backup, but also the fact it's collapsible 800ml, 700ml bottle, and this is a Catadine one, is really handy with having 3 bottles, and then this, even the longest stint, 4 bottles should be enough between towns for the Mallee route because there's heaps of access. So there's that, some short-fingered gloves. As we go along and I'm buying food, stopping to get food, that's where most of it will get stuffed in. So bread rolls, snacks, chocolate bars, whatever it is, that will go in there. Top tube bag, this is my electronics. I already showed you what that is. That's actually what goes in the stem. I have my bone conducting Shocks headphones. Don't actually go in the ear, but you can hear great for listening to music or podcasts to pass the time while still hearing your surroundings and vehicles and stuff behind you. I have this is a Signet 10,000 milliamp battery pack. This gets full charge on my phone, full charge on my bike computer, full charge for both my lights. And if I'm needing more than that, means I'm taking more than 2 days, which is my plan. And if I'm stopping for a second night, well, then I'm probably going to be stopping at a pub or a hotel or something like that and getting a proper night's rest and charging everything else. But that gets me 2 days in fine for all my electronics. And what else? USB-C cable, USB micro B cable in there, and the clip that goes on the top of my helmet that actually holds the light. All easily accessible. Don't want to be stopping and rummaging around in other bags. It's right there, good to go. That's it for that bag. That'll also get a little bit of food in it, or if it's raining, my phone will get stuffed in there instead of sitting on the mount. Right, frame bag. Probably the most important thing that I love most from doing this last time is that my rain jacket sits in there. You want to have this as close to hand, because even in 2021 when it was warm, there was a half-hour section where it rained, and the fact it was right there meant I didn't try and push on without it and get all my kit wet. I just stopped, took 20 seconds, put this on, and was good to go. So I will always do all my events with that right there at the front. Easiest thing to get. Ear warmers and a full buff. Again, shouldn't need it too much unless cycling through the night. But if I am sleeping, they are also really handy for staying warm while sleeping. Already got some food in here, so some Cliff bars, which I'll add more to. Bag of sugar and hydrolyte mix, whatever tub you get from Woolies. 1 cup of the hydrolyte mix and 2 cups of sugar is the ratio I use. That's a bit of a backup if I'm really starting to go sidewards. Spare tube. Even though I'm running tubeless, I always carry at least 1 spare tube. I'll probably bring a second one for this just because the Goldfields might be that horror strike. Sunscreen. Got stuck up north of Ballarat before Pyramid Hill, cooking on the second day, burning before I actually bought some sunscreen last time, so I learnt my lesson. Leatherman. I have got a multi-tool, which I'll show in a second, but this is in case I need to cut out a cable, spoke, whatever it is. This is like a last case thing, emergency, but I just like the peace of mind of having that with the pliers and cutter in that. This is my quality of life, spoil yourself item. This is a Thumper mini pump, electronic pump. I know personally that if I'm 12 or even more than 2 hours into any sort of ride and I get a flat and I'm having to pump it up, I just don't want to be doing the pumping, so I use this. I can get 2 full fills of these 500mm tires out of this, and if need be, I can charge it on the ride from my battery pack. Just a quality of life item. I do also carry a little mini pump. It's not in here at the moment, but it's normally sitting in this bag as well. A tool, a tap adapter, so you can stop at fire stations and all different places that have the different type of keys for taps. Again, probably not needed for the Mallee Blast because there's so many towns that have just readily available water supply, but just a natural thing I stick in. My little toolkit, so tire levers, the dyno plug with a narrow and thick dyno plug already loaded in it, some glueless patches, a spare chain link, spare valve stem and valve tool, just in case for some reason they fail, some more dyno plugs, and the actual multi-tool with a chain breaker in it. I cannot suggest that enough, to have an actual chain breaker in case something goes awry. Not much else left. Little thing of chain lube and some spare batteries for my light at the front, which I don't know if I said it before, but my light at the front is a Clean Skin 1000. Between the battery in there and these 2 spare batteries for it, that will get me about 8-9 hours of operation. I'm not planning on riding through the night, but if for some miracle I'm feeling excellent and I do decide to, that will be enough, especially with my second light as well and the battery bank. I'll get through that because it can charge and be of use, and my cable's long enough to get there from my battery bank in that bag. So the only other thing that's missing from there, like I said, is my little mini pump and also some insect repellent. I've got a little tub of insect repellent, but that's that. So everything readily accessible. Seat post bag. This is, the 2 bags that are left are purely if stopping and sleeping, or moving into the second day. At the back is my spot tracker. Each to their own. It's a self-supported thing, so you do what you want, but I can't stress having, I think it's probably irresponsible if you're not bringing something like this for this type of event, because you're putting yourself at risk or others having to stop and support you at risk without that. A little nog light on the back and another rear light there. But in this bag, all I have is, I hope my bike doesn't fall over, all I have is my sleeping bag, sleeping clothes, and a change of cycling kit. What is this bag? My family's had it for a while. It's a high country light hiker, supposedly rated to 3 degrees, but anything below 10, 5 without wearing lots of clothes, this isn't quite enough, but it's what I have, so that's what I will use. Another thing that I would like something different, I would love to get a puffy jacket because it'll pack down a whole lot less, but a Helly Hansen polar fleece top. Wear this while sleeping or kicking around in any town if I'm staying the night. My cat's going to investigate the bag. Some baby wipes, love those, if of course stopping and not riding through the night, and clothes. So this will hopefully what I'll sleep in first night or when I'm on the train, because like, I'm doing the northbound 500, so I'll get the train back. I know some people just stay in their cycling kit, but for me personally, quality of life, I want to change into something once I'm either sleeping or on the train ride back. So what do I use? Clothes wise, just a really light synthetic short sleeve top, some synthetic shorts because they all pack down really small, a pair of boxers, so that's regular clothes tied with a polar fleece, so that's sort of going to be my train trip. To then layer that up for sleeping is another thermal cap for the head, And then these, I absolutely love these. It's a sort of value pricing. As you probably learnt, I'm all about value with my setup. I would love to get some merino wool, but until I do, these are Uniqlo Heat Tech, Uniqlo Heat Tech thermals. Long sleeve for the top, and have some full length leggings as well. Add those to all the other clothes I have, and I'm sleeping pretty comfortably down to some low temps. I have a spare pair of cycling kits, so socks, leg warmers, which I can also put on over the top of that if it's really cold at night, but temperatures are looking pretty fine. Arm warmers, can also add layer, and a pair of bibs. And I also have a spare cycling top. Now, I could probably get away with just wearing the one cycling top the whole way, but again, creature comfort. It's nice on the second day to put a fresh set of kit on and feel a little bit energized by that. So that's everything in the rear bag, so clothing and sleeping bag. And in the front, I have my sleep system. So I use a bivy bag and tarp, and that all fits in here with an air mattress. Clearly you're probably telling by now I'm not like an elite paste, not going to set any records. When I want to stop and sleep, I'm trying to stop and sleep in comfort, but it all fits in this. I also have a pair of some knockoff Oakley clear glasses if I am riding into the night. And to show you how it all packs in here, and I love this bag, just wish I had got the larger diameter one. I normally open it from the other end, open from the right hand side. A couple important but not super accessible items, but easy enough that I could get to without taking it off, is some wet weather gloves, so those, and some toilet paper, so easy access. This will normally be in a Ziploc bag to make sure it stays dry, and that if I do have to use it, then I've got something to take after myself. Bivy bag, packs down, super small. That's probably my nicest item I own. That's pretty high-tech bit of kit. I love that because of how light it packs down, how protective it is. Cordage for my tarp. My I'm stuck on something. My 2 tarp poles for each end. These are, what's the brand? DAC Featherlights. They pack down small enough, and I'm caught on something, but I have for each end. I'm caught on in here. There. There we go. Just caught on the pull string of one of my bags. So yeah, tarp poles for either end. Come down nice and short, and they are super light. Tent poles. A Wanderer super light air mattress for comfort. I could just go one of those foam rolls, but I appreciate the quality of life of that. And then again, another AliExpress special, and a Rixie 7x9 tarp. Packs down super small. I could even crush it a little bit smaller. 2 years ago, I just used a blue Bunnings tarp. Worked completely fine, just packed a bit larger, a bit noisier in wind. This was more for its pack size, is why I got that. But like 40 bucks off AliExpress, and also works great. And again, because we're probably not expecting too much rain, I might not bring this, but a Tyvek ground sheet to go underneath my bivy bag. That also adds protection, so the bivy bag can't tear. Another Ziploc bag for utility. That's it, and that's all my kit. Yeah, that's it for bike and equipment review. I will also now move into a bit of a review of at least the northbound route for the first 320 Ks that I did, to give my experiences there. But I hope this helps, and if you have questions, stick them below. Thanks.